July 22, 2025, police respond to a bank call regarding a suspicious female trying to cash a fraudulent bad check. Teller explains. Notice how calm she acts, but the teller knew immediately. The teller called the real owner to verify the transaction and learned that someone had been targeting his account all afternoon using these specific fake checks. Pure fraud. Now, watch closely. This is the first fake check they spotted. The design of the check was completely wrong, which instantly raised the teller's suspicions. It did not match any previous deposits. They quickly verified the identity of the actual victim, who confirmed that someone was actively trying to drain his funds. The officer begins questioning her. She acts confused. The cop asks for her story. She claims she just received it. A very common excuse. She plays dumb. The officer asks for details. Where did it come from? She blames the mail delivered to her home. The cop is skeptical. Naturally, he questions why she rushed straight to cash it so quickly. Exactly. The officer points out her story makes absolutely no sense at all. Then he asks if she even works for the company. She claims she did once. Another weak story unravels. The suspect claims it was years ago. The officer pushes for specific dates. The suspect hesitates. He acts evasive, claiming he cannot remember it. The deputy heavily questions this massive payment delay. Why cash a years-old check right now? His excuse is a change of address. He claims he had the check sent to his home. It is a weak cover story. The deputy shifts focus to the bank staff, who flagged the transaction. The teller prepares to hand over the evidence. They discuss the account history. Notice how nervous the suspect gets right here. The bank had already flagged this business account for highly suspicious activity. The officers are working to untangle the lies. Let us see what the teller discovered. The deputy gets the facts. The employee explains how the bad check arrived. She ran a routine check on the account and immediately noticed a glaring security issue. The check format did not look right. This one was printed instead of handwritten. A major red flag for bank security. Regarding this specific company, the teller confirms the details. The officer confirms the discrepancy, but the telltale signs do not stop there. The check number had already been used on a document cashed back in May, already paid out. The deputy wants to identify the accomplice, to link them to a ring. It was cashed by a different suspect, and that original check was handwritten. So she contacted the actual account holder to confirm if this check was legitimate, and his response confirmed her exact suspicions. It is a total fraud, a counterfeit attempt, part of a wider identity theft scheme, targeting multiple bank locations today, spreading across the entire local area. Understood. The victim asked them to call police. She gave him the check number to verify. He immediately told her it was a fake. Even after giving him the suspect's name, he confirmed. He knows this is an outright fraud attempt. The check is fake. So, the business has no record of her. None. Now the officer needs the owner's contact info to verify. She has it ready. He asks her to share those details. Officer Martinez gets the owner on the line. He introduces himself right away. He explains why he is calling so urgently. It is all about a highly suspicious check. He asks about the suspect, Andrea Cody. She claims she was an employee there, supposedly working for him over 2 years ago. But the owner shuts that down instantly. He explains that his business is quite small. Since he handles all the hiring himself, he would absolutely remember every single employee. And she is not one. Understood. He listens. Then comes the second major red flag. This check number was already cashed. He already paid the real recipient. And it was not her. Got it? The owner reveals an even bigger problem here. This is actually the third fake check hit, drawn from his exact business account, using the same fraudulent story each time. These are not even washed checks. He examined the digital images closely. The copies, sent over from the bank branch, presented just the day before. They tried replicating security features. Only his signature was real. Right. But his actual business checks do not have holograms. The police officer digs into the details, comparing this fake to the previous ones. The check at the Hillcrest branch featured a hologram. He clarifies if her actual checks are usually handwritten or computer-generated. She explains that while both are possible, in this case, she hasn't actually seen the specific check in question yet, the exact check that was passed at that location, but it was definitely handed to the teller there. Meanwhile, 2 other locations are reporting similar fraud attempts. One scam went down just 2 hours prior to this, and a completely different suspect hit the other spot. They are using multiple runners to cash these checks. The real checks were originally issued as handwritten, but the suspects had printed copies. They presented completely printed duplicates. The owner realizes these were likely created on a computer, straight from printer. The officer asks for more details about the business, to build context, clarifying the type of establishment. What kind of company is she running? She confirms it's a restaurant and bar. The suspect claimed she worked in their kitchen, allegedly working there for about half a summer. The officer is trying to verify this. The owner needs to verify the suspect's name. She wants to be completely certain of the records, since she rarely hires temporary or seasonal staff, especially for short-term kitchen help. She reiterates the need for absolute certainty, asking for the exact name again. The suspect has been identified as Andrea Cody. Named Andrea Cody, the owner immediately shoots down the claim, confirming she never employed an Andrea Cody there. She has only ever hired one woman there in all her years of operation, and it definitely is not this suspect. The investigator moves on to verification of the checks, checking the check numbers in question. Check number 90 to 37. She pulls up records. This is the last check left to verify. So far, every single check she has checked. She is searching the database right now. All previous checks have turned out to be fake. The victim points out a highly suspicious red flag. The suspect recycled a used check with duplicate numbers. The officer listens. He immediately runs the check in the database. Notice how the victim notes the sequence error. The check numbers do not match normal business. Real accounts do not jump around like this. This is a classic forgery indicator. The officer prepares to confront the suspect. He keeps the victim informed of progress. Briefly, the cooperative citizen provides their contact number to help. Now the mood shifts. Officers must read rights before questioning. The suspect is officially detained. This protects the legality of the interrogation entirely. Pay close attention. Suspects often try to stall, using distraction tactics, but the deputy stays firm. He commands her full attention. The standard warning begins with silence. Anything stated here becomes official evidence, a critical legal safeguard for the prosecution. Suspects are informed of their legal counsel. They can have representation present during questioning. If they lack funds for defense, the state provides a public defender. This ensures a fair legal process. They can choose to stop talking whenever they want. Invoking this right halts all police questioning, without any negative legal consequence. The officer asks for clear verbal comprehension, which is required by law. Nodding. He needs clear confirmation. Acknowledged. With comprehension established, questioning can proceed. Now, the officer asks the suspect if she will talk. Voluntarily, she tries to dodge the question. The suspect deflects. Officer blocks her. He invites her to speak up. Watch closely. The deputy asks a direct question. He already called the boss. Listen. The owner has no record of her. She instantly tries to redirect the focus, using her ringing phone as a distraction. Classic. But the officer holds his ground, bringing her right back to reality. Now she plays the innocent victim card, claiming the payment just arrived. But police have proof. Analyzing the paper trail, the document numbers do not align. The amounts and names are completely wrong. Her name is forged on the front. This is why they are investigating. It actually belongs to another employee, a payout that was just processed, not years ago like she is claiming. Now the pressure starts to mount. How did she get this document? She stubbornly sticks to her very weak excuse. Unbelievable. Insisting it arrived by post. The investigator is not buying it at all. She has no defense. He offers her a lifeline, but she keeps lying, trying to get her to cooperate. She refuses. They already have the evidence. The business owner confirmed the fraud. No one just gets free cash delivered. A $1,600 payment, just out of pure kindness. It never happens. One last time. who actually gave her this forged check. Who is it? The suspect keeps claiming she's telling the absolute truth, but the officer is not buying this bizarre story. She walked in expecting to quickly cash a fake check. Watch. The check is from a business she never even worked at, allegedly given by an acquaintance. It's a very weak excuse. The officer presses her again. The business already confirmed they have no record of her. They never employed anyone by her name. The officer even ran her name through their database. There is absolutely no matching record of employment anywhere. The business owner confirmed it himself. He made it clear she was never on staff. Yet, the suspect doubles down on the mail story, claiming it randomly arrived. The officer asks her to locate this alleged workplace. Where is it situated? She names a nearby town, but again, they never actually hired her. Red flag. She gets defensive, trying to deflect the pressure, wanting to change the subject. She assumes she's completely free, but the officer quickly corrects her assumption. This is now an active criminal investigation. The officer orders her to turn around, getting her into position. Turn. Let's check her pockets and clear everything out. Checking her back pockets as well. Secure the phone. Understood. Ready. Dispatch. Placing her in handcuffs now. She asks if they can just stop recording. They transport her to police headquarters for a formal detective interview. Under interrogation, the detective begins, trying to build rapport. He asks how she acquired the check. He is laying the groundwork for some serious questioning. Notice how the investigator is already one step ahead. Here. The suspect immediately worries about who else will find out about this. The officer quickly downplays the situation to reassure her that this conversation will stay strictly between them and their legal representatives. Now she explains how she got it. The investigator instantly presses for the source of the fraudulent check, but she immediately claims she has no name. The detective pushes to define their relationship completely. She serves up a classic, complicated excuse. The officer is highly skeptical of this story. Right here, she claims she only knows him by a single first name. The officer clarifies the spelling. She quickly acts clueless to avoid more questions. The detective tries to establish if this is a one-time thing or part of a larger scheme. She denies it. So why did she agree to do this? She claims a friend pitched it as easy cash and assured her the checks were completely legitimate. This is a very common defense tactic. She pretends she did not understand the illegality of what she was doing. The officer wants to know what her instructions were for cashing the check. She was told to simply go inside and collect the money immediately. Just walk out. Now the detective explores the financial split of this illegal bank transaction. Naturally, the orchestrators wanted their cut. How much were they taking? She acts uncertain again. She insists her only role was to cash the check and bring the cash straight back to her waiting friend. The detective points out that she was likely being used. Let's see how the deputy starts mapping his timeline. He wants to find accomplices. He claims he was dropped off. Now, the deputy is digging for more details. Did they make any stops? No. The officer confirms it was a direct route, straight to the target bank. Next, the deputy asks about connections to the business. Has he ever visited this company or met the business owner before today? Understood. So, the suspect entered the bank with a check, handed to him by someone else. Yes, he tried cashing it. Is this his first attempt? Has he done this before? The deputy is checking for a pattern of fraud. Has he cashed other stolen checks? And his age? 19. 19. Right. The officer lays out the legal reality here. Using another person's bank account is a very serious felony offense. The teen immediately claims he did not know. He plays the card of complete ignorance. But he still tried to cash a bad check. Did he even look at it? He claims he only read the names listed. What names were printed there? His name and a company name. Watch as the officer spots a major contradiction here. See, he saw the business name. Clearly, the suspect backtracks, saying he only glanced, then went inside. The officer asks if he ever worked there. At all. No. He corrected himself, meaning the actual company. Fraud. She denies. Absolutely. The officer presses her on what she knew. Withdrawing cash from a business account. Stealing directly from a company. An organization she never actually worked for. Total fabrication. The investigator highlights the obvious red flag. A check issued by a random business, which she has never even visited, and certainly never did any work for. Yet she still agreed to cash it anyway. This scenario should have raised major alarms, instant warning signs. Reality finally hits the anxious suspect. She is facing 2 felony charges now, plus an additional misdemeanor on top. Heavy. She seems completely lost here. The deputy explains her active charges, pointing out that felonies are severe, carrying much heavier prison sentences instead. Unlike a typical minor misdemeanor offense, her arrest is now officially confirmed. She is going straight to jail. He explains the upcoming booking process calmly, where she will receive legal counsel, a public defender to handle her case, to advise her on next steps. Hopefully, they might secure a plea deal. Then he asks about her record, checking if she has priors. He maintains a surprisingly empathetic tone, requesting her phone. The officer asks who she needs. She insists on making one quick call, visibly growing more anxious. However, the deputy remains incredibly patient with her. He promises she will get a call to let her mother know about the situation and explain exactly where she is going. Next, now he shifts focus to the check source. The deputy begins pressing her on the timeline. She claims today. Officers quickly lock down her statement. Next, they dig into the accomplice. She immediately tries to distance herself here. Interesting. The officer pushes for a name, identity, classic stalling tactic. The deputy redirects her. Notice how she keeps changing her story on camera. Suspicious. He pivots to the friend. A nickname? Time to get real identification. She complies, taking notes. Now, we are getting to the origin of the scheme. She admits she was recruited for this. The deputy probes deeper. He wants the specifics. Specifically, how they got the fake check. Details. The suspect starts rambling as she tries to explain. How did this plan start? The investigator points out a major logical flaw. They have never met, but she points the finger at the others, claiming this is a regular operation for them, every single day. Understood. Now he asks for locations. Conveniently, she has no idea. No home address, no contact info at all. Absolutely nothing. The officer lays it out straight for her. Her story is completely falling apart. He moves on to their physical setup. Since she was supposed to grab the cash, was there a getaway driver waiting? He wants to know about the vehicle. She describes a black sedan. The deputy asks for a specific brand. She thinks it was a Honda. Did the suspects flee before police arrived? The suspect claims her partner already left the scene. This means a key suspect just slipped away. Referring to the ringleader, both female accomplices, meaning Tota and the godmother. Let's look closely at how the deputy uncovers this operation, establishing that this is a habitual fraud ring. They use different low-level runners. The suspect is starting to look quite cornered now. She pretends to be confused, pointing out they recruit multiple different mules. Targets. The organizers never take the actual risk. They stay back in the getaway car, using runners, while people like Miss Cody take the fall. The officer appeals to her conscience. She tries to play the innocent victim card, claiming she believed it was a legitimate errand, just cashing a check, but her name is printed on the document. She uses that to justify her actions. The deputy is about to drop a logical truth bomb. Watch. This is where her story completely falls apart. The deputy remains calm and highly professional here, explaining that law enforcement has a job to do, because at the end of the day, this check is worth $1,635, stolen directly from a local business. She has no connection to a company she has never worked for, nor has she ever met anyone from there. She did zero labor to earn this cash. The deputy shifts tactics, using a brilliant analogy here. He asks her to imagine her own parents' account. What if someone targeted her family, using a forged check from her own mother, worth $3,000, draining her account entirely, taking every single cent they had saved up? The thief simply walks away with it, draining $3,000 instantly. Tell me, do you think that is fair to your mother? That is hard-earned money. She finally admits the painful truth. She is looking at serious forgery charges, plus grand theft and identity fraud for stolen credentials. What are your thoughts on her behavior?